Now while you're watching this video, please remember to like, subscribe to my channel, click the bell icon for notification of future videos, and share this video also. Thank you.
Well, hello there, welcome back to my channel, guys. It's so good to have you here with us once again. Now, as you can see, I have another exciting video for you, and as the title suggests, the top 3 most used and most deadly forms of deception by the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Our Seventh-day Adventist top 3 most deadly forms of deception. This is what we are going to talk about today in this video here. Now, I'm going to tell you what the top 3 are, and I'm going to give you a definition and an example of them, right? So the first one among them is called red herring fallacy, right? Now, this fallacy, let me give you the definition. This fallacy consists in diverting attention from the real issue by focusing instead on an issue having only a surface relevance to the first, right? So let me give you an example now. You tell a Seventh-day Adventist, right, that where Christians is concerned, those who worship on Sunday, the reason why we worship on Sunday, it is not because we believe that the Sabbath is transferred from Saturday to Sunday. No, that's not why we worship on Sunday. We don't worship on Sunday because we believe that Sunday is the Sabbath, and the Sabbath should be kept, and it should be kept on Sunday, the first day of the week. That's not the reason why we worship on Sunday. The reason why we worship on Sunday is because we do not see a continuity of the 7th-day Sabbath. That's one. The second reason is that Paul gives us the liberty to regard whichever day we want to regard, right? Romans 14, right? Paul tells us that one man esteemeth one day above another, another sees every day alike. Let each man be fully esteemed. Let each man be fully persuaded in his own mind. And we believe that the keeping of days is irrelevant according to Galatians chapter 4, right? These are the main reasons, right, for Christians not keeping the Sabbath. We believe that days of worship is irrelevant according to Romans 14, and that the keeping of days, the observation of days, that's irrelevant. Sorry guys. And not only that, from Colossians chapter 2, it tells us clearly that one should not judge us on Sabbath days and other holy days and so forth. So these are the reasons why we do not see a continuity of the Sabbath day, and why we think that one can regard whichever day we want to, right? Now, the other reason why we believe this is because Christians, based on history, have been worshiping God on Sunday even before Constantine made Sunday the official day of worship, right? So Christians have been worshiping on that day as a commemoration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ, because he was resurrected on the first day. For them, they saw the first day as a new era, right? Ushering a new era, the end of the old and out with a new era now, right? Which is on the first day. So Jesus resurrected on the first day, and Christians choose to worship on that day for corporate worship in honor of the resurrection, right? Is there biblical justification for this? Yes, Romans 14. Paul says you can choose whichever day you want to, right? And I have studies on Romans 14, Galatians 4, and Colossians 2. You can check them out. I'll put them in the comment section. So this is our reason for worshiping on the first day. We do not believe that Sunday is the Sabbath. Majority of Christians, right, don't believe that Sunday is the Sabbath. That's one. And two, we don't even remotely attempt or try to keep Sabbath on a Sunday. None of us do. We do our work. We do the chores on Sunday. We cook food on Sunday. We watch TV. We have fun on Sunday. We do just about every single thing you can think of on Sunday. Now, Seventh-day Adventist knows this, right? And primarily the leaders. But the red herring fallacy in this is that they would oftentimes lament on how Sunday is not the Sabbath and so forth. Nowhere in the Bible does it command us to keep Sunday as a Sabbath. This is an example of red herring fallacy. They know that the real issue with us, is whether the Sabbath should be kept, still be kept now or not. And they also know that the real issue is whether one can worship God or congregate for corporate worship on any day of the week. Right? They know that this is a real issue for us. But they divert from that and lament on, hey, Sunday is a Sabbath. It is because Constantine transferred the day from one day. That's the reason why Christians is worshiping on Sunday, which is totally not true. So this is a red herring fallacy for them. And they will continue to use this again and again to manipulate persons who don't know their Bible and who doesn't know church history. Right? Now the second fallacy or the second tool that they use is what we call Astraman arguments. Right? Now let me give you a definition of Astraman argument and then give you an example of what a Astraman argument is. So Astraman argument. A Astraman is a form of argument and an informal fallacy. Informal fallacy of having the impression of refuting an argument, whereas the proper idea of the argument under discussion was not addressed or properly refuted. One who engages in this fallacy is said to be attacking a straw man. So you would go to Colossians chapter 2 and you would go to Romans chapter 14 and you will show them this. And what they'll still try to do is to say that how will you know, right, if the Sabbath, why would God remove the Sabbath commandment alone and not remove the other 9? This is what they are going to say, and they are going to say that doesn't make any sense. You believe that the 9 is still to be kept, right? But the fourth one, this is the one that you have an issue with. So the strawman argument that will be raised, they will try to make an attempt to show that the 10 commandments is still kept, and they will completely ignore what you show from Colossians 2 and Romans chapter 14 and then say, hey, you have no argument. They will completely bypass that, and they will try to raise other arguments and say, hey, how are we to know sin and all kind of stuff. Then when you fast forward and show the 10 commandments and you go to Colossians, 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and Romans 7, and you demonstrate from it that we are no longer under that anymore, that's the old covenant, right? They are still going to say, okay, can we kill, steal, what have you, and so forth, and then say, hey, you just said it. Then if we can't kill, steal, and so forth, then it simply means that the 10 commandments is still valid. And when you go to them, you try to tell them, say, hey, listen, the new covenant doesn't permit us to do these things, and because the new covenant doesn't permit us to do these things, this is why we don't do it. And even after they do that, they are still going to raise other arguments and say that what you really have a problem with is the 4th commandment and not the what you really have a problem with is the 4 commandments and not necessarily the 10 commandments. No, Christians doesn't believe that we are under the old covenant, right? We're no longer under the entire system, the 600 and odd laws. We're not under it, but they are still going to attempt to try to make it seem as if we only have a problem with some of the laws of the old covenant. And that is a strawman argument there, because you see, it's not it not only is it a strawman argument, but it's rather hypocritical. Because if they raise this strawman argument, we can raise the very same strawman argument and say, hey, you're just as guilty as us because you have a problem with some of the laws of the old covenant too, because you don't believe that we are to keep them anymore. Right? Like for instance, several of the ritual laws and so forth, the laws that said that you should die if you do such and if you commit such and such things, civil laws and these things, they don't believe we are under them. So can we then say that they only have a problem with some of the old covenant. No, we don't say that. We believe we are not under the old covenant, none at all. You get what I'm saying? So we are more consistent in our argument than they are, right? So remember, this straw man argument is something that will definitely always come up with Seventh-day Adventists. And the last one among them is confirmation bias. And I spoke about this before in a video that I did on cults, right? That one of the things that you have to look out for is confirmation bias, right? I'll post a link in the comment section. Now, what is confirmation bias? What is confirmation bias? I'm going to give you the definition of what confirmation bias is. Right? Just give me a second, guys. So, confirmation bias, here's the definition. Confirmation bias, the tendency to process information by looking for or interpreting information that is consistent with one's existing beliefs. This biased approach to decision making is largely unintentional and often results in ignoring inconsistent information. So it says that it is largely unintentional. No, it is largely unintentional enough for the members, but for the leaders, it is very much intentional, because you see the members, they are deceived, they don't know any better, but the leaders know this full well. So a classical confirmation bias that they will do is that they will find something said by some Sunday worshiper that is giving some indication that they believe that Sunday is now the new Sabbath, right? And that it is to be kept, that the Sabbath should be kept, and it should be kept on Sundays. They will always seek to find something that is either showing Christians arguing over Sunday, how you're disturbing their Sunday, and you're inconveniencing their day that they used to do whatever, worship God and so forth. And they will always seek to find something related to that and to use it as proof for their arguments surrounding Sabbath, and especially their eschatology on the Sabbath, which says that a time is going to come when a Sunday law will be placed on all humanity, and anyone who chooses to obey these Sunday laws will receive the mark of the beast. So this is their eschatology, and their number one thing that they use is this Sunday law thing and the mark of the beast in order to keep their members in. Right? And then once they do that, they then couple some fear, they then attach some fear mongering and so forth, and say, hey, it's almost here, it's almost over, the Sunday law is approaching. And this is one of the things that cripples many of their members and keep them in. So they use this bias, and what they do, according to the definition of confirmation bias, it said this bias approach to decision making is largely unintentional and often result in ignoring inconsistent information. So the inconsistent information here, right, that they always ignore, is that the majority of Christians don't believe that Sunday is a Sabbath. They don't believe that the Sabbath should be kept and that it should be kept on Sunday. And not only that, we don't even by the slightest bit attempt to keep the Sabbath on Sunday. We do just about everything you can think of on Sunday, and they ignore this information every single time. They always ignore this information, right? Which that information alone should basically crush their argument that Christians are keeping Sunday as God's holy day and all kind of foolishness, right? So look out for these three tools: red herring fallacy, straw man argument, and confirmation bias, which will always be coupled with fear mongering. Right now, what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to give you a classical example of what I'm talking about: red herring fallacy, straw man arguments, and confirmation bias. Check out a clip here from Doug Batchelor. Right, I'll put the title on the screen for you guys. Check out the video.
Hi friends, this is Pastor Doug Batchelor. There have been some very interesting developments in the news this week that we think every Christian might want to know about, and there are probably even some prophetic implications. Yes, they were arguing about the Sabbath day in the halls of our government. A couple of senators were discussing this in connection with voting. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith from Mississippi was addressing Senator Chuck Schumer from New York City, one a Christian, one a Jew, about the Sabbath day. Well, I'm going to play this for you, and then I'll have a couple of comments afterwards.
He was wondering why on Sundays Georgia would not participate in an electoral process of gathering signatures of registration and things on Sunday, and I would just like to respond to that. Georgia's a southern state just like Mississippi. I cannot speak for Georgia, but I can speak for Mississippi on why we would never do that on a Sunday or hold an election on a Sunday. You know, this is our currency. This is a dollar bill. This says the United States of America, in God we trust. Etched in stone in the U.S. Senate chamber is in God we trust. When you swore in all of these witnesses, the last thing you said to them in your instructions was, "So help you God." In God's word in Exodus 20:18, it says, "Remember the Sabbath and keep it holy."
Well, it's very interesting. And I'll admit, I feel a little conflicted as I watch this. On one hand, my heart thrills and I admire the chutzpah of Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith as she's talking about in God we trust. And I think she's correct that our government was founded with the understanding that we are a moral people with both a Judeo-Christian background. But Roger Williams understood there needed to be a distinction that is very important for the government to support, endorse, and even help enforce the last 6 commandments. You can't steal, you can't kill, the constant litigation and covetousness, respecting parental rights, honor your father and mother, the sanctity of marriage in the 7th commandment. Governments should support those things. No government should be legislating who God is, when to worship Him, how to worship Him, what His name is, namely the first 4 commandments. And so I think it's interesting that they're arguing about the Sabbath day. And I also think it's interesting that he or she, a Christian, is lecturing Senator Schumer, who is a Jew, about the Sabbath. And neither of them speak up and say, well, actually, it is the 7th day of the week, Saturday. It's not Sunday. They're arguing about voting rights, and I'm not even going to get into whether or not people should be voting on the Sabbath day. I just think it's interesting that in the last days, we know that there's going to be ongoing discussion in the halls of government about what the true Sabbath is, and ultimately there are going to be laws about this. And nobody's even raising a peep about, well, they had the wrong day. Nowhere in the Bible does it ever call the first day of the week the Sabbath. It always calls the 7th day of the week the Sabbath. The day Senator Schumer knows is Saturday. And so a lot of people are confused about this, and I just wanted to put something out there so people are aware. They keep their antenna up. We ought to be watching what's going on because it often starts with small things like this, and that can snowball into bigger discussions. We've had a very difficult year. More and more people are talking about God now freely in the government because of all the troubles in the pandemic. People are thinking more spiritually. And here at Amazing Facts, we've seen more spiritual interest than we've seen in the whole history of the ministry. But we know that one day that interest is going to turn, the pendulum is going to swing a little too far in one direction, and folks are going to start making religious laws out of fear. And so I think we just need to be aware of what these issues are. Yes, God does want us to keep the Sabbath. No, the government should not be telling us how to worship God. If you're going to be keeping the Sabbath day, keep it the right day. It's not Sunday, the first day of the week. It's Saturday, the 7th day of the week. If you'd like more information on this, we got a free book that we'll share with you. And it's called, Is Sunday Really Sacred? And you'll want to download this, share it with your friend, and stay in prayer as we are in the last days.
So there you have it, guys. What can I say? What can I say? These people, they are really hell-bent and carrying on their folly. And it's just a shame, right, that most Christians are not aware of these things where SD is concerned. They have been accepted among the evangelical circle and they are seen as an evangelical Christian church by many. And it's a pity that persons don't even know, that most Christians don't know. You see, the problem here, is just as though there are most of their members don't even understand what they believe. They don't understand their belief, and they don't know how erroneous their teachings are. It is the same way among evangelical circle, that a lot of professed evangelical Christians, they don't fully understand their beliefs, and they don't know history, right? And they don't even know how to articulate their belief, right? So it's natural that you'll find some Sunday persons who worship on Sunday saying, hey, this is my Sabbath and so forth. Most of them don't understand, and this is the reason why Seventh-day Adventist is always able to proselytize so many Christians and so forth, because they don't know what they believe, they don't know how to defend their belief, and they don't know how to articulate their belief. And so Seventh-day Adventists capitalize on this ever so often. But guys, it's just a pity there are not more persons who are spreading the word on Adventism, or how there were more workers in the field, right, that is spreading the word about this deadly movement that Christians are to be wary of. Now I end this video. I ask of you, help us to spread this word. Help me here to spread this word by liking this video and sharing it and subscribing also. Now with that being said, I end this video. Bye bye now.